Hello, Skellington Boyle here. I decided today to record and talk over a little uh, Team Age of Mythology VOD. Me, Dog Molecule, and Deku been playing some 3v3s, and I have a strategy on Freyr. I guess we have a strategy that seems to be working really, really well. So I was just going to go over it, put it out there, share it with the people, so other people can try it because it seems really broken. I can see I mess up my build order here a little bit. I'm supposed to put the first dwarf to gold, but yeah. So there's a technology later in the game called, I believe it's called Fury of the Fallen, and I can't really look at it right now, but it's 15% extra damage gets applied to a berserk if an allied unit dies nearby. So you'll see later. The strategy is you play Freyr kind of normally, standard. You play defensive, boomy, grab a town centre, set up your hill fort, play safe, but then once you reach Mythic Age and you get that upgrade comboed with a couple of other upgrades that I'll show you later, you just mass berserk, and so far it is genuinely so strong that it beats late game Egyptian, Greek, Atlantean, other Norse armies. They'll have Mythic Age units, they'll have myth units, they'll even sometimes have counter infantry units and archers, and the amount of damage these berserks get is so high that you just steamroll through them, even against your counter units. Miss a goat there. So I'll just speed through the early game a little bit because there's not too much to talk about. What we've been doing is Dog Molecule on the Chronos will set up a rush against one of the players, and generally what happens is his teammates or their teammates overcommit, coming over to defend the Chronos rush, and that lets me and Deku, playing our boomy defensive gods, sit back and have a real good time just setting up our two town centres and getting an economy lead. And later in the game, our gods are just so strong, so it becomes really hard for them to deal with it. I think Freyr, I'll just talk a little bit about Freyr. I think Freyr is actually really well suited to team games. I think the go and birthday gets a lot more value because no matter who gets attacked, you can cover them with the go and birthday. Your slow playstyle fits really well into team games. You can sit back, tech up, boom, and it's been very rare so far that we've been punished. Maybe we'll play against teams who do more coordinated aggression into me or into our Ra, and maybe that would give us a hard time. You can see here, Dog Molecule with the automatons deconstructs the temple. It's unfortunate that he was paired against the Greek player. I think it would be better if he could get onto the Odin, but I'm not sure actually. Where did the Odin spawn in this game? Yeah, so the Odin's in the middle, so it's going to be really hard to scout that in time and pressure that, but this is okay. So sometimes what we do is I'll use my Asgardian Bastion over at the forward base, and it will help protect this position and pressure, and I can print a few units. And I don't really have any rhyme or reason to it. It's just sometimes I'll do it if it feels right, sometimes I won't. But this game I Bastion to secure my hunt because I'm against Odin and Poseidon, and I'm worried about cavalry running around my base and stopping me from getting resources. So I just use it next to the second hunt just to make sure nothing goes wrong there. You can see I'm grabbing my second town centre. I'm printing villagers and I'm putting a lot on food because I want to get two town centres, I want to get villagers out, and I want to get heroic age. And you'll see soon that I will go through Bragi, not Aegir, because there's an upgrade for berserks that you really want from one of Bragi's unique technologies. Throw down my armory fairly early, something that's I think is good to do on Freyr, so you can queue up the upgrades. I don't do it here because I'm a numpty, but you could just pre-queue like copper weapons. If I'm against a lot of Norse, I would pre-queue the copper armor. If I was against some archer civs like some Hades, and maybe I would pre-queue the copper shields first. I should probably have a couple more getting this town set up. It was a little bit slow, but now we're booming, we're getting ahead on economy. It's a little strange because I don't exactly see what's going on with these games with Will, but it seemed like he time shifted these buildings back, so I guess the pressure didn't work out too well. I build a longhouse and have my units over here because he was calling in our VC that he was going to get pressured, but I'm worried about the raiding cav coming right into my base now, so I pulled my units back. I built some walls. I don't really want to get raided, and I think after, I think I pulled the gatherers that were on the zebra out here back into the base. I don't want to lose any villagers if I can, but never mind, I'm lying. I sent them out to Gazelle because I'm greedy, but they caught out 3 raiding cavalry, so if you have this many villagers against that many raiding cav, you can just shank them to death. There's not much they can do about it. So you'll see I went through Braggy, the flaming weapons, and I'll slow it down a second to see if I can find the upgrade. I don't know if I can actually view it, and oh, here we go. Yeah, so this upgrade, Call of Valhalla, this is one you definitely want to grab. You also want to grab this, but I think this is less important. But this is really, really good. So basically when you're massing your berserks and running them in as a big tide, they'll be fighting, so they'll be generating favour because you're north. They'll be dying and powering up the other berserks, and then you get 1 favour for each time they die. So I think in this game I reach about 600 favour, and I actually get to use 2 of the, I think I used 2 flaming weapons and 2 infernos, which is really rare on Freyr. It would never happen in a 1v1 from my experience. It's very hard to get favour on this god because he's very defensive. You don't want to be scrapping too much early on, I would say. So it's the favour generation. It gets pretty silly, which you'll see in a bit once I sort of hit my stride and reach late game. So the game slows down, but eventually I think Deku will take us another town centre and a big fight's going to break out in the middle. That's not really going to show exactly what I want to show because I'm not quite at the mythic age with the mass berserk at that point. So that's more just standard Freyr gameplay. Something you can do on Freyr, probably figure this out pretty quick if you just play a few games, but just right click your technologies, especially the eco upgrades, I think, because, well, I mean, if you're bad like me, you'll forget about them, so even in the heroic age I just right click to pre-queue the mythic ones, because I think the cheap eco upgrades are really, really worth it. I think stuff like medium infantry and heavy infantry and armory upgrades, you can be a little bit more careful with that, because if you pre-queue too many upgrades and like the enemy comes in and starts fighting you, you're not going to necessarily have the resources to print some military units and defend. But for the eco upgrades, I pretty much always pre-queue them. Again, my 3rd town centre, I'm the, what would you call it, like the anchor player, the middle player, so I'm the safe one here, so I just need to make sure that I get a huge economy, I get really strong, and I can carry later in the game. Should be a fight breaking out around the middle any moment now. You can see how far, I should probably be paying more attention to the chronos. It's supposed to be a video about Freyr, but a lot of what makes this work is Will's pressure onto, or sorry, Dog Molecule's pressure onto one of the players. So you can see in the score the teal player has been put really far behind. And again, I wasn't paying as much attention as I should have, but what usually happens in these games is the teammates overcommit, sending units to defend, and it just gives me and Ra a really easy time booming and getting really strong. And in late game we've just been winning every time with the mass berserk composition, and the Ra camels are also incredibly strong. So we've got full anti-cav here. So these raving calves should get smoked. Something else about the team game aspect is I feel like in a 1v1, if you go the mass berserks, the obvious thing for the enemy to do is just going to be to mass counter infantry. So they're going to have Toxotes or throwing axemen or hypaspis or axemen, and I'm not sure it's strong enough that it can overwhelm its counters. I've not tried, but I feel like it might be a little bit too hard. So yeah, fight breaks out here. This is what I'm talking about with Going Burst. It can just defend this Walking Woods solo. This boar is so strong and bad, so it's just idle, but it should be I should be sending it over here to help defend. We can even just look and see like how much damage it's going to do on its own. But look at this Nemean line. It 5 hits and that Nemean line went down. It killed 2 Nemean lines. It killed a full Walking Woods, 2 Nemean lines. It probably killed a couple other units as well. If you're playing against Going Bursty, and you can, I think you should always run away. I think it's not worth fighting into this thing. It might not feel good, but it's really good to force this out of Freyr because the recast is 300. So it's very, very unrealistic that you'll get the recast. Chaos comes down here. And we are managing to defend this position. Print some herdmen. Not quite at that point where I can go mass berserk yet. I'm going up to age 3 and I'll get the Fury of the Fallen soonish. And then yellow comes over, but he's a bit delayed. They're a bit delayed here. Their teammates just fought and lost. We'll send over the army. Well, blue's over here, so yeah, they're still pushing. I'm printing as many units as I can. At this point in the game as Freyr, I would say that you're pretty strong. Age 3, going into age 4. This is probably one of your strongest points in the game. Should be micro and these throwing axemen onto the enemy throwing axemen a lot better than I am. But you're going to see once I get the... they're pushing us out here, and it's a bit rough, but once I get the Mythic Age rolling in, and I get the... start to mass the berserks, get all the upgrades. I convert some woodvilles to berserks here. Maybe this is bad, but I just find that, again, it's like a me problem that I'm not good at the game, but I usually have too many on wood at this point. I think it's because I'm used to building more like Ballista and Huskarl, so I kind of autopilot and put a lot on wood, but I've just been building berserks in these games, so I need less on wood, so I was just been converting some to berserks to go fight, defend a little bit. Maybe it's bad, maybe it's good, I don't really know. I've still got my flaming weapons and my inferno. This unit's just gonna slap up these cheap non-hero units really hard. Should get that catapult. And Dog Molecule's gonna come under some pressure at some point here, and I'm helping Deku out to kind of hold as best as I can. Hopefully Raz late game can come online. He's already got the Son of Osiris. The other thing that we've not mentioned really about the berserks is when you get all of the I don't have the conscript yet, but when you get this, the berserks train in like 6 seconds. So late game, when your Freyr economy is online, you can reinforce so quickly if you spam longhouses across the whole map and use a hotkey to select them all, and just hold shift and print a whole bunch of berserk, click somewhere on the map. They reinforce so quickly, and they're pretty fast as well, about 5 movement speed I think, so they'll run through and help defend very quickly. You can see this unit's just an absolute beast, even with the Chiron there, it's just super tanky. But don't want to give over that 300 gold. So the Mythic Age is online. Have I gotten the Fury of the Fallen upgrade? Can I select the Berserk? Yep, so you can see I've got most of the upgrades that I need. I need like an extra tier of armory upgrades, but I'm basically ready to start spamming. So this is a technology, so you can read it there. So this comboed with this upgrade, and even the ore upgrades for a little bit of extra movement speed helps out. Freyr's Gift and these units are absolute monsters. I've seen their attack, because the damage bonus stacks infinitely, so I've seen their attack, you see it's 17.5 here, I've seen it go up to like 140 when a bunch of units die nearby. Try pay attention, see like how high the attack gets in a big fight. Should send that to somewhere else. To go tear down some buildings. Need to run the Fafnir away. Don't want to give them the gold. This unit is very awkward. I find that like it's really strong and I want it to fight, but also I don't want to give the gold. So what ends up happening is like it gets really low and I want to run it away, and maybe I have like A gear with the healing from the hill forts, and maybe I run it away and slowly heal it up, but it'll stay pretty low HP because the healing output's not enough to get it back up. And I don't know if it's better to send it to the corner of the map, maybe that's a little over dramatic, or if it's just you should just send it and kill it. But I don't really like printing this unit later in the game, to be honest. I don't like the idea of giving over gold, so honestly I think if I was going to print myth units, which maybe I could, maybe that's something I could add to the strategy with all the favor generation, I think I would actually just train Battle Boar and or a Rock Giant, depending on what sort of heroic age god I picked. So I'm kind of brainlessly just sending in units to see 20 attack, 23 attack. I could reset a little bit, and I do sprinkle in some other units. I'll get some Huskarl a little bit to deal with the archers, just some Balistan rams to kill buildings, but it's, and some Godi as well. I think Godi are important to take care of myth units because they can be very strong versus the berserk. So a big fight breaks out. We found a lot of people in these team games are doing this Fimbulwinter power. They're going age 3 and almost always going for the what's it called, the tier. But here there's an unfortunate miscommunication, and basically the ceasefire just cancels out his Fimbulwinter because these wolves can't attack now. So it doesn't even shut down our economy. So that's a big mistake by them. We don't get any of the idle time that we should from the Fimbulwinter, so it doesn't really work the way it should. Another thing I think I should be doing more is I should be casting this off cooldown with the Ring Oath, because the favor gen gets so high, and I don't really want to have my berserks be idle building stuff to creep forward on the map, because I want them to just run in and fight. So I could just be planting these down, just here and there, to just take space on the map, and because it builds itself, and it builds itself fast in the Mythic Age, I don't have to send my army away to fight that. So what's going to happen soon here is the enemy team's going to divert some of their attention away and go and fight Dog Molecule, and I'm going to have to start sending my Berserk reinforcements over to help him out, but it works out in the end. The Berserks smack everything up. Try to pay more attention to sort of what's actually happening in the fights, and I'm not... At the time I'm kind of jumping around, looking around the map, managing the economy and whatever, so my micro's far from perfect, but I just kind of want to see how much they actually manage to do. See if I can see any like big numbers jump up. They get the 300 gold. So a bunch of units are dying. So you're at 18.5, 15.4, and that's not even a DPS, I believe. That's Oh, and you get a small multiplier against heroes as well because of the Twilight of the God stick, but the rate of fire is really high, so it's not actually 12.4 like damage per second. It's I'll hover over it, so that's like 26 damage a second they're doing with the upgrade. You see them just all running in now, but the full drain time upgrade, they take 6 seconds, so they just print out. So at this point in the game, it's really important to take town centres where I can and just have that in fortified town centres maximum population. Send in the wolf. Oh, love that god power. I'm not very good at using it. I don't think this was a huge value one, but I kind of feel like some games I save it because I want that perfect use of it, and I kind of feel like I should lean more on the side of just using it when it seems good. So, plus with this strategy, I also cast flaming weapons here, because again, it's like I have reinforcing units. Maybe it's not the best, but I've been caught out in some games because I just don't press the god powers. So this is gonna let me really push them off of gold, maybe. Yeah, I think it's important not to look for like the perfect scenario. The Huskarl are not great here because I'm only really fighting Norse now, but it's just I don't know, it's just because of like team games, like you build to counter one guy, but then the dark blue players are not really fighting at all anymore, so the Huskarl maybe not getting as much value. You can see already 400 favour. So once these come off, I should have cast these sooner because then they'd be off cooldown to use again. If I'd cast these sooner, I would have had another wolf to just send into this base, and should really just cast those god powers with a strategy. I'm not printing myth units either, so I kind of feel like Vidar is a Age 4 minor god, is all about the human soldier units. So like I said, I don't really like printing the Fafnir too much. It's a bit of a double-edged sword. Battle Boar are good, but they're not. I don't know if they're a unit worth sort of massing. So I kind of just stick to the berserks and throw in a handful of other units that I might need to counter whatever they're doing. Some herdmen, some throwing axemen, some Gode to deal with myth units. So Dog Molecule gets into a bit of trouble here. I kind of want to keep pushing here, but I feel like Deku is sufficiently online with the Ra at this point, with the really strong camels. Blue is getting damn. I'm assuming he has the upgrades that makes these minions last longer, because the fact that they can run over here and raid is actually kind of disgusting. Like they just killed like all of this guy's farmers, and they're not even like, he didn't make these units, he just got them for fighting. That's really strong actually. So Dog Molecule's under a bit of trouble here. I send over the Horde, the mad lads. They're coming in. Hydra, don't care. Cavalry, don't care. No multipliers, well, small multiplier against heroes. Just gonna whack them. And what ends up happening here is they get a little bit sort of stonewalled. They cast the Earthquake. It's a little bit hard to push, but then we print some hero units to deal with the Hydra, and very quickly the Horde, the tide of berserks, just sweeps in and overwhelms them. Another, like I said, there's the train time aspect. They take 6 seconds to train. They're fast and they're also really cheap. So my economy's been sustaining, basically just printing and throwing away these units to power them up. Freyr's economy gets so strong late game that he's kind of able to do that. So I feel like maybe there's an argument that you grind people out because the units they're printing are so much more expensive, whereas you just get to print these dirt cheap units with low population en masse. Yellow's coming over to help out. I have enough to recast my god powers. I kite back a bit here, and then I think do I send in the wolf? I think I was thinking about it. See Raz just at the point where Raz really overwhelming over here. Deku doesn't actually need my help anymore. I thought that maybe coming back to help might be a mistake, because it might be better to kill them faster, but looking at it now, the mummies and the late game of Ra is more than strong enough to take care of this, so I think it's actually a good call to come over and help out. See it? I do what I was saying, I sprinkle in some counter units. I want to deal with these Hydra, not let them get out of control. And they basically all drop to all these heroes that we have, and then I'm not sure what the resource situation is for the enemy team. Something else to mention about teams, I think, is the market is really, really important, because you get more, I believe you get 50% more gold for trading when you send it to a teammate, and the maps are so big as well that the caravans travel so far. So I think like even Age 3, I should have maybe pointed it out, I wasn't looking. I also got a Titan up, which I completely missed. But yeah, it's important to get a market down and just get trade going. I think it really, really helps out to sustain your economy at this point in the game. And you can see I'm just sending in the tide of berserks. At this point, because the units are sort of trickling in, they're not regrouping their units to make a coordinated fight. Basically, we're just running over them. And yeah, nice, strong, easy strategy. Print one type of unit, send them at the enemy. I like it. Reminds me of Zeus with the Myrmidon. It makes the game easy for me, because I'm a pleb and I struggle to come up with good sort of counter compositions and stuff later in the game. I like a nice brain dead, easy strategy. Just print this unit, send them in. Makes the game easier for me. And I think they're gonna tap out, so send in the wolf! Ooh, and we catch all those villagers out. Just cast flaming weapons as well for the fun of it. 21 damage. I should be trying to do a better job of trying to find the, when a fight's going badly, like how much the Fury of the Fallen actually sort of pays off. I think I'm at the point where I'm winning so much where the berserks aren't even dying really, so you don't actually get value from the upgrades. So it's kind of OP, because it's like if they're actually killing your units and you're losing, then you get stronger and you start winning. So it's like a I don't lose strategy. Maybe it would lose to like a full-on death ball of like Hades archers later in the game, or a ball of chariot archers from Egypt. Something like that, they could kite them and didn't actually have to get swung on, but they're pretty fast. 5 movement speed. For stuff like Arcus and Toxotes, they could definitely like catch up, and like the way it works is like if you snipe them down by attack move kiting away, the ones that reach will be stronger anyway. So I think maybe chariot archers. Maybe chariot archers is the best way to deal with it, or maybe hypaspists and axemen. Yeah, the Titan and the berserks are just in now, so maybe if I do another sort of recorded commentary video like this, I could focus more on what Dog Molecule's doing with Chronos, because as much as it looks now like the Ra and the Freyr take over, I think a good counter to this strategy would just to be to aggress onto one of us, whoever's not in the corner. So I think maybe what the enemy team needs to do is just send in 2 people in the classical age with aggression into Ra, and just sort of, you know, like pull Ra into a classical fight, like make him have to print units and slow him down and aggress. But everyone in team games plays for booming in late games. It's hard because you have to be really coordinated if you're going to be aggressive, I think. But it's just very rare that we're losing when we reach late game with the Ra and the Freyr. So yeah, if you come up against a strat like this, I think don't commit too much to defend a teammate from Chronos. Ideally they can help themselves. Maybe just send over like 1 or 2 heroes, you know, don't send over the full army, because that really plays into our game plan when we're doing this strategy. And find the greedy players, the Freyr or the Ra, and put some pressure on, I think. Maybe those are ways to sort of deal with it. But yeah, hope this was fun to watch. Might upload more sort of Freyr videos. I've not been doing as well in 1v1s. The team games have been going a lot better, so I'm still trying to figure out Freyr in 1v1s. But this strat has been really strong in team games, so if it looks fun, go and give it a go. I think it's maybe a little slept on right now. Yeah, thanks for watching. Catch you all later. Bye.